Your home, it's supposed to be the place where you are the safest, and that's what the family of Jennifer Persia thought. The last family member to speak to her was her mom, who asked her to take some spaghetti sauce from the freezer for dinner on an April evening. It was a meal the family never ate. Instead, Jennifer's mother came home to find her daughter had been brutally murdered inside their Magnolia, New Jersey house. Almost 2 decades later, the family is still asking, who killed the young, bright 16-year-old and why?
There's so much to say about her. As the years go on, it actually gets harder. It doesn't get any easier.
She was the kid every parent wished they had.
She was into everything. She played the saxophone. She ran track and field. She did discus, threw the discus, ran hurdles, jumped the hurdle. I mean, I came across things last night that she won awards for that I didn't even know.
At 16 years old, Jennifer Persia was a responsible, fun-loving girl. She was a standout student, a member of the school band, and an amazing athlete.
She didn't go to parties. She didn't drink. She didn't do drugs. She did just get her first boyfriend.
For this young woman, life was just beginning. She had a world of opportunities in front of her. Till one night when police think Jennifer came face to face with someone she knew, someone who would take the girl's life in a horrific and bloody struggle.
Jennifer was stabbed in the trunk more than 20 times. There was also some blunt trauma to her upper body and head.
It was April 4th, 1994, the day after Easter. Jennifer's school, Sterling High School in Camden County, New Jersey, was closed. It was spring break. But Jennifer went to track practice anyway and was last seen alive by the members of her team. Police think Jennifer returned to her Magnolia home sometime around 4:30 that afternoon. A typical teenager spends those afternoon hours on the phone chatting with her friends. And Jennifer, police think, was on the phone a short time before she died.
She talked to her mother approximately 5 hours before we think the murder happened. The mom called, I believe, around 4:30 to tell her, I think, to get some sauce out of the freezer because they were going to have spaghetti that night.
Jennifer may have left behind a valuable clue for police.
Over the years here, you know, there was that phone call that Jennifer was on the phone with her girlfriend. That Jennifer saw an old friend.
Who was this old friend, and was this person the one that Jennifer saw at the door of her home? Did this person visit the neighborhood often and therefore didn't cause any suspicion if spotted by other residents on this dead-end street? Next, more on the suburban murder of 16-year-old Jennifer Persia and why her own neighbors couldn't help. We're back in 60 seconds. We continue with the case of Jennifer Persia, a teenager found brutally murdered inside her own home. One theory is she answered the door for someone she knew, and her life ended shortly after. Jennifer may have left behind a valuable clue for police.
Over the years here, you know, there was that phone call that Jennifer was on the phone with her girlfriend. That Jennifer saw an old friend.
Who was this old friend, and was this person the one that Jennifer saw at the door of her home? Did this person visit the neighborhood often and therefore didn't cause any suspicion if spotted by other residents on this dead-end street?
Any suburban murder in a suburban town, when somebody's in the sanctity of their house, is usually a big key.
But this case robbed Jennifer's family, friends, and neighbors of their security and a young, promising life that was taken away too soon. A home is where families are supposed to find safety and comfort. But all of that was stolen from Jennifer, who not only fought to save her own life, she died in the one place she was supposed to be the safest.
She put up a real struggle. She was found by her mother approximately 8:30, mother and father 8:30 on April 4th.
I think my stepfather entered the house first, and my mom told me that he tried to stop her from grabbing my sister. So, and he drug her outside.
Jennifer's mother was sobbing from the street outside. The panic and the police activity attracted attention from neighbors. But what haunts this family is why the neighbors seem to have heard nothing else that night. Nothing between the hours of 4:30 and 8:30 in the evening. It was in that time span an intruder in Jennifer's home beat her, stabbed her, and strangled her. Police and family members think surely the young athlete who put up a fight must have screamed. She must have created some sort of noise. But those sounds went unnoticed.
It's very bizarre because the neighbors were really nosy, but what's odd is why weren't they nosy that day? It's a cul-de-sac street. Everyone's yards are. How doesn't anyone hear anything, see anything?
Police say Jennifer put up an amazing fight. She had more than 24 wounds to her body, but kept fighting, even smacked the killer or killers with an Eagles mug. Police found it shattered at the crime scene. What isn't clear more than a decade and a half later, why would someone want to kill a child? And why was it such a violent act? There was no sign of forced entry. Did Jennifer open the door for her killer? Did she know when she came face to face with this person or persons what was about to happen to her?
We've interviewed probably over 150 people. We've taken DNA from approximately 100 people, to no avail at this time.
The Magnolia house where Jennifer lived with her mom and her stepdad is modest. Family members say if Jennifer had interrupted a break-in, the thieves could have easily just been scared off and run away. Nothing much was taken from the home. Police say it is odd. The only thing that seems to have gone missing is a jar of Susan B. Anthony quarters taken from an upstairs bedroom, perhaps after Jennifer was killed. Family members say this was not a house that was filled with valuables, and those quarters were not out in plain view. Did the killer know where to look for them? Was this criminal so desperate for some spare change a young woman's life was expendable to get at those quarters? Or was the intrusion planned for a time when the killer thought this home would be empty, and Jennifer just got in the way?
Because the fight got to the point that it probably did, based upon the injuries that were incurred on her and the defensive wounds. Whoever did it probably panicked, didn't expect such a fight from her, but this girl was not the girl that was just going to sit down there and let them do what they wanted to do. So it was basically, we believe, probably a robbery that went bad.
The theories are endless, and so is the frustration felt by Jennifer's big sister, because the unsolved case of Jennifer Persia has now outlived the victim. Jennifer never saw her 17th birthday, but the story behind her case is now entering its 18th year. Carol says she isn't looking for closure because she doesn't believe in it.
I believe in justice, and Jennifer deserves justice. And we need to find who did this to her. I cannot be sitting down at dinner, enjoying, a turkey dinner with a family, and while we are sitting here crying every single year, 17 years later.
Carol is now leading the fight to find her sister's killer. Her mother and stepfather have passed away.
I did promise my mother that I'd also do this for her.
Carol says her sister isn't a story. She's a person with parents, aunts, uncles, and sisters who have done everything in their power to track down Jennifer's killer. And Carol Persia Ross is now hoping someone out there will hear this story and come forward. Police say it's impossible for all this time to have gone by and the killer or killers to have remained silent about what happened inside this Magnolia home back in April 1994.
Who did it? Whether it's one person or two, we're not sure. They told somebody. And whoever they told, we need them to come forward. Because they got to think at night when they go to sleep, what she went through. This 16-year-old girl who fought for her life. They could become a hero here.
The Citizens Crime Commission is holding on to that reward money for information on Jennifer's killer. You can help her sister finally answer the question of who killed Jennifer by calling in that tip, and you can remain anonymous. Call 215-546-TIP.